rituals, and I have no idea how to pronounce this, so I'm going to leave the word in. Orgies. But that is exactly what was on the menu for the Hellfire Club. A society of blue-hooded rakes who gathered here in the mid-18th century. Their number included the cream of society. Among the members listed on a plaque in the caves were a dozen MPs. The first Lord of the Admiralty, the son of the Archbishop of Canterbury, and a certain Benjamin Franklin, who spent many years from the 1950s to the 1970s in London, originally as a representative of the Pennsylvania Assembly. Dashwood himself, the group's leader, was the Chancellor of the Exchequer, the second most powerful political figure in Britain. Dashwood was a colourful character born into an aristocratic family in London in 1708. He inherited his father's title and West Wycombe estate at the age of 15. Imagine inheriting like that much at the age of 15. No, what the heck? It's crazy. As a young man, he took full advantage of his wealth and status on a series of grand tours around Europe. In the process, he gained infamy as a carouser and enthusiastic libertine. In Russia, he was alleged to have impersonated Charles VII of Sweden, Russia's great enemy at the time, and attempted to seduce the Tsarina. It was also said that he was expelled from the Papal States during his time in Italy. The latter charge would set a pattern for Dashwood's later life, characterised by a fierce anti-religious sentiment that found expression in his activities with the Hellfire Club. An corrigible bon vivant, Dashwood had already established two dining and drinking societies before settling up what would become known as the Hellfire Club. The Society of satirical anti-Christian activities. Indeed, Dashwood decided that the ruins of Medmenham Abbey, a Christian monastery dissolved by Henry VIII in 1547, was the perfect headquarters for his new organisation, which was christened the Medmenham Friars or Friars. In these hallowed grounds were pursued carnal pleasures. Sex was one of the main preoccupations of the Friars, wrote historian Evelyn Lord in the Hellfire Clubs. Dashwood's old associate Horace Walpole visited the abbey and wrote that the club had adorned the chapel with bawdy pictures and would take any women they wanted into the old monks' cells dressed in mock religious clothing. Men came to these meetings dressed as monks, women dressed as nuns, and Dashwood came dressed as the priest. They all wore masks so as to remain anonymous. Their motto was, I'm going to put it up here because I don't understand French, I don't speak it, so yeah, I'm going to put it up. Do what thou wilt, an exhortation which would later gain infamy as the credo of Alistair Crowley, a notorious English occultist of the 19th and 20th centuries. The excavation of Dashwood's caves in West Wycombe was completed in 1752, and the meetings of the club moved into the caves at some point after this. Exact dates are hazy because the club's records were ordered to be burned by its secretary, Paul Whitehead, 3 days before his death in 1774. Walpole wrote that practice was rigorously pagan. Bacchus and Venus were the deities to whom they almost publicly sacrificed. The inner temple, a small circular room directly beneath the West Wycombe St. Lawrence Church, in which the Hellfire Club was set together for their most transgressive rituals. It stands directly beneath West Wycombe St. Lawrence Church, directly beneath the altar, to be precise. Whisperings of explicit Satanism and human sacrifice, however, remain in the realm of rumour, largely thanks to Whitehead's burning of the records on his deathbed, although, as Randall pointed out, he wouldn't have done that for no reason. At one point, the roof of the secluded lodge was blown off during a storm. The locals reckoned that aggrieved spirits seeking vengeance for the Khan's destruction were responsible, and so the tales began. The secrecy surrounding the club led to speculation that its members were Satanists and devil worshippers. The president was named the King of Hell and dressed like Satan, with horns, wings, and hooves. The members were also said to set ablaze at each meeting for the devil in the hope that he'd attend. The members were also said to hold black masses in the lodge, during which cats the one in which the devil himself appears. According to legend, a stranger joined the club